Hello everyone. So today we will continue from the last lecture in which we were studying about ecosystem. So in ecosystem we were discussing about the various biogeochemical cycles. So far we have studied about three biogeochemical cycles and those are carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, water cycle. Now we'll study about the oxygen cycle, that is next cycle. So as we all know, air is a mixture of gases. So the air in the atmosphere is composed of different gases like nitrogen, that is 78% in the environment or atmosphere, oxygen 21%, and the other trace gases are 1%. So according to Earth's history, oxygen gas was first introduced by cyanobacteria through the process of photosynthesis. Someone told like earlier around 4.6 billion years ago there was no life on planet Earth because the atmosphere was devoid of oxygen. Later there was a gradual increase in the oxygen level, and by the Carboniferous period 299 million years ago, oxygen reached the levels that were similar to today's estimates. So today oxygen is freely available in the air and also dissolved in water. It is the second most abundant gas present in the atmosphere, as we know. This is 21% available in the atmosphere, and more than this oxygen, and there is only nitrogen available in the atmosphere, that is 78%. And also the oxygen is also the most common element of the human body. It also plays an essential role in most life forms on Earth, and also serves as an essential element in biomolecules like proteins and nucleic acids. So to understand this oxygen cycle along with the carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle, this plays also an essential role in the existence of life on Earth. So the oxygen cycle is a biological process which helps in maintaining the oxygen level by moving through the three main spheres of the earth like atmosphere, lithosphere, biosphere. So the biogeochemical cycles explains the movement of oxygen gas within the atmosphere, the ecosystem, biosphere and the lithosphere. The oxygen cycle is interconnected with the carbon cycle that we have discussed earlier. So the atmosphere is the layer of gases present above the earth's surface, as we know already these things, atmosphere. So the sum of all earth's ecosystem make a biosphere, and lithosphere is the solid outer section along with the earth's crust, and it is the largest reservoir of the oxygen. So basically oxygen cycle is defined by the circulation of oxygen between all these things like atmosphere, biosphere and lithosphere and the ecosystem. So if I talk about the various stages of the oxygen cycle, then first we'll see like all the green plants during the process of photosynthesis release oxygen back into the atmosphere as a byproduct. As we know, during photosynthesis process, what plants leaves or what plants release oxygen into the atmosphere, and then the all aerobic organism use free oxygen for respiration, and all animals exhales carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere, which is again used by plants during photosynthesis. Now oxygen is balanced within the atmosphere. So here also we can see here the photo in the photosynthesis process, the oxygen is released by plants, green plants. Then this oxygen is used by animals and plants in the respiration process, and then it will go to the water, and then again to the and then again, and the oxygen present in this water will be used in photosynthesis process. And similarly from the organic compound it will go to the if the animals and plants consume this organic compound, then and they will consume oxygen, then and they will release carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and that will use in the photosynthesis process by the plants and again to atmosphere. So this is the whole oxygen cycle present in the ecosystem. Now we will discuss about the next cycle, that is phosphorus cycle. So phosphorus cycle, as we know, the phosphorus is also an essential nutrient for living processes. Like it is because it is a major component of nucleic acids and phospholipids, and as calcium phosphate, as we know, it make up the supportive component for our bones. Like calcium phosphate is the supportive component of our bones. So phosphorus is often the limiting nutrient in the aquatic, particularly freshwater ecosystems. So this phosphate or phosphorus is necessary for growth. And if we talk about this chart diagram, then phosphorus actually origins or generates from rocks, like disintegrations of rocks. Then it will come into the soil. So first the phosphorus will come into the soil in the form of phosphate. Then some phosphorus or phosphate will run away with the rivers. Then with the time, if the plant's roots will go deep into the sand soil here, then they will consume this phosphorus from here to in plants. Then if animals consume these plants, then phosphorus will move to the animals. After some time, if there's those animals who consumed those plants, then if they dies or decomposes, then in the dead form of organic residue, that the phosphorus will come back again in the soil here. And if the microorganism dies or decomposes, then from here this phosphorus will come to the soil again. And then again this will some portion of this phosphorus will run off to the rivers, and again plants will consume the phosphorus. So this whole cycle go on. Then next is sulfur cycle. So after phosphorus cycle, we'll study about sulfur cycle. So sulfur is also one of the most abundant element on the earth. As we know, it is a yellow, brittle, tasteless, odorless non-metal. So sulfur is present in all kinds of proteins. Plants directly absorb sulfur containing amino acids such as methionine, cysteine and cysteine. So sulfur is released into the atmosphere by the burning of fossil fuels or volcanic activities and decomposition of organic molecules also. So if the process we talk, then the sulfur is released by the weathering of rocks. Then sulfur comes in contact with air and is converted into sulfates. After conversion of sulfates, the sulfates are taken up by the plants and microbes and are converted into organic forms here. And this will converted into organic forms of sulfur. Then the organic form of sulfur is then consumed by the fungi bacteria, and that is converted into hydrogen sulfide, H2S. When the animals die, some of the sulfur is released by decomposition, while some enter the tissues of microbes. So there are several natural processes such as volcanic eruption, evaporation of water and breakdown of organic matter in swamps that release sulfur directly into the atmosphere. So basically, if we talk about the decomposition of organic compounds, like how this decomposition of organic compounds take place, then protein degradation release amino acids that contain sulfur. So sulfates are reduced to H2S here, then by the action of desulfotimaculum bacteria. So all these process happen in the sulfur cycle, from plants to organic sulfur. Then by fungi bacteria it was reduced to H2S, and then again it is oxidized to a higher part of sulfur, and this whole process takes place. So this was all about ecosystem and the biogeochemical cycles. In next lecture we'll study about biodiversity. Thank you.